tuned in. You tuned in. Tuned in. Tuned in. Yup, yup, yup. Not sure if it's loud enough, but if not, sound good? Sound good out there? Sound good? Want to welcome y'all to Tuned In via Ozone Effect. Today's guest, we got Dolore in the building from somewhere on the planet. We're going to see where he's at right now. What up, what up, what up, what up, bro?
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Man, doing good, man. How about yourself?
God is great and life is good, man. Can't complain.
Beautiful, man. I know. I'm not sure if you want to let where you at right now. I know you out. You're not in Florida right now, right?
Nah, Southside Brooklyn, baby.
Oh man, how you like it out there?
I love it, man. It's my roots, you know. New York and North Jersey is my roots, man. And I've been out here. My family's out here. Like, it's nothing new to me, man. I just never really lived here like that.
That's right.
But now this is where I live, man. So I love it, man. I love the fact I don't need a car.
That's dope. That's dope. I never lived out there as an adult, so like I always wondered, like, damn, I should be out there, like, live out there for a little bit. That's early. You ain't got no insurance, no car insurance right now.
You don't gotta worry about none of that, man.
That's
I swear
dope.
I got the ill city feet, bro. I just be walking everywhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you got the energy, it's still. What does it feel like out there right now? Is it still like electric, or like I know like stuff's changed out there? So what's it like?
Nah, it's actually pretty dope now, man. It's starting to come back to life. There's people in the streets again.
All right.
Phase three, I think phase three starts tomorrow. So, like my bodega never closed. My bodega's been open the whole time. But like,
Like, yo, what you want?
yeah,
Well, you want a hoagie? That's
that
crazy.
baconated cheese.
Hell
But now
yeah.
they stopped serving food, but they still open. But now,
Damn.
everything's coming back to life, man. But to keep it a buck with you, man, when it got crazy, I went to Florida.
For real?
Yeah, I went back to Florida, and then now that it's crazy in Florida, I came back to New York. So,
Yeah, man, that's wild. I think because I was like around spring break, so everybody started heading to Florida out of nowhere. But
yeah,
I just been in the crib, bro. I don't go nowhere really. You know what I mean? Like
honestly, man,
it's crazy. Like I just be in the parking lot, like
yo,
a couple
better
blocks
safe,
at my
better
mom's.
safe than sorry, man.
Say
Better
what?
safe than sorry, man. Better safe than sorry, you know. And it's like my pops said, man. My pops was like, "What's a couple months or even a year to the rest of your life?"
Right. It ain't. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what
Like, bro, I had people hit me up like, "Yo, you coming up?" I'm like, "No, bro.
I'm saying? Nope.
Nah."
Nope.
I
Yeah.
had to tell family no. I was like, "Nah," you know what I mean? Like, but now that everybody's, because I stood inside early, so I was like, "Nah, I gotta be safe." But I wanted to go to New York this time, like in the summer. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn, I want to go up there," but because I'll be out in
Summertime
Harlem
in the
when I go.
city. Summertime in the city, man, is special. I'm glad I got to come back for it.
I was like, yo, next year I'm gonna go for sure because I was supposed to go last year, but I was crazy with this job. But nah, that's dope
Man,
though.
you could get like $11 tickets right now.
For real. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's mad cheap, bro. But now people coming from Florida, it's like when I first went back to Florida from New York, I had a quarantine, but now they're making people come from that are coming from Florida to quarantine, and they're like, nah, like
That's
so.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
scary. That's wild, man. So, but you been in New York for what, like 4 or 5 years, something like that? How a couple years?
nah, just it'll be a year. Actually, right, it's been a year today.
Well, I know you was traveling though. I mean, I seen like you was moving, right?
I be moving around a lot, man. I'm Jamaica, Mexico, up top, down bottom. I'll be everywhere, man.
So yeah, how do you like the transition from Orlando, Florida back up north, like after, getting more attached to the music? You know what I mean? How do you like it now?
Man, honestly, I love the Ozone, man. Like when I first moved there to Orlando in like 2010, it was the Ozone Cypher on Orange Ave. Was it like Tuesday nights or something? Remember that?
Yeah. Monday, hot
With
dog,
Conscious.
vegan hot dog joint,
Yeah,
right?
right next to the vegan hot dog joint. Yeah, with Conscious and Rubox. And so
Right.
like I fell in love with hip hop all over again when I moved to Orlando, man. It was like real hip hop, it wasn't like normal Florida stuff.
Right.
And I love it, man. But as I started progressing as an artist and taking myself more seriously, people didn't. And it was rough, man. It's been
Right.
rough, it's been a rough 7 years now. I've been doing my thing like is like a real, like trying to do it for real.
Right.
And but when I came to New York, man, I got mad love, man. Like I did a show in Spain. I did my first show in New York in Spanish Harlem, and then I did one in the Bronx, and just got mad love, bro. It's funny how it's like when you're from somewhere else, people are more open to you. But for me, it was a bucket list to do a show in the Bronx, man, and it was like the birthplace of hip hop. It was dope. I had a live band with me. They kind of like joined in my set. It was just all around dope, man. So
That's dope.
I'm just falling in love with it all over again.
Right. That's dope. You know what I noticed? I noticed that like I don't know, maybe it's because it's a competitive city or whatever, but like when you leave, you might be like, damn, this is. But when you leave, you'll start to feel the love differently. You know what I mean? And usually when you go somewhere, they kind of tell you like they appreciate you coming from wherever you coming from, like to rock for them. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's probably because there's so much talent in the city. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just maybe spoiled. I don't know, but you know what I mean. But definitely when you go somewhere, they kind of appreciate it because for one, they don't look at you like a local because you from some other land and you must be a pro at whatever. And then if you show them, because there's so many dope cats in the city that even if you're not the dopest in the city, as soon as you leave the city, you're probably the dopest of wherever you go because you know what I mean. It's like Rucker Park type stuff. Like that's how I feel like. I
Yeah.
feel like you know what I mean. The city breeds a lot of dope MCs like that. So whenever you go somewhere, you shine like nothing. So definitely the Bronx. That's crazy, man. How did that feel after you rocked the Bronx?
Oh man, I was electric because shout out to my man Many Faces, bro. Many Faces had did a show at the same place, and that's my man's, right?
Uh,
So he kind of told me about the dude, and like he didn't like pave the way. He didn't like make it easy for me. He just told me what I needed to do, and so I took the trip. I went out and I caught a show, and I caught the dude in the lobby and was like, "Yo, listen, man, my name's Dolore. I'm from Orlando. I just moved out to New York. I would love to rock. I would love a chance to rock." He's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about you from so and so." Like he heard of me from
right.
somebody. I forgot who it was. And he's like, "I got you when you want." And I was like, "Oh snap!" I was like, "February?" He was like, "All right, I got you." So it
Dope.
was like it was way too smooth how that happened, man. But then afterwards, it was just crazy because I did a song I had never done before, which is gonna be on my new album. I'm releasing out my new album on August 9th on my birthday.
Word.
So
What's the album called?
and
You got a title for it?
yeah, it's called BITS, but it's an acronym, Beauty in the Struggle, but BITS because
BITS.
yeah, because there's a lot of songs and albums named Beauty in the Struggle, but there's none for an acronym for it. So I wanted to keep that same vibe, but be original.
Right.
But one of the songs on there is like a love song. It's like a love song to God, and
Uh-huh.
I was like trying to sing. Like I wrote the song 5 days before the show because it was for Valentine's Day. The showcase was for Valentine's Day, and it was celebrating hip hop, black culture, black pioneers, and love. And I was like, yo, I got the hip hop. I got a joint called Legends that I could work in the black history aspect because it was Black History Month. I was like, I got that, but I don't got no love songs. Like I ain't never made a love song. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, so I wrote the joint 5 days before the show, and the crowd was just mad cool. I told the crowd, I was like, yo, I'm not a singer. I know I can't sing, but it was too late for me to get a singer for this joint, so I'm gonna just do it myself.
Right.
I'm gonna just sing. And the crowd was mad. The crowd was mad cool. My girl was taking a video, and in the video, you hear like this shorty in the background. She's like, "You better sing, Dolore."
That's
Like,
dope.
sing that. So it was dope, man. I got a lot of love, and the band just happened to start playing with me, man. And whenever I rap like over a live band, it brings this crazy energy out. So like I
Right.
wasn't we didn't rehearse that. I wasn't expecting that. The band just did their thing, and I just was like, yo. So it brought like this extra level out of me. And I met Mad Connects. I got a chance to do another one, but then the virus hit, you know, so it didn't happen. But I got a lot of new, like, so I don't like to call people fans because I feel like I don't really got fans like that. I just got supporters, you know, people that got love for your boy, man. So it
Word.
all around was just a dope night, man. I couldn't be more thrilled that I was able to rock in the Bronx and it went well. And I didn't choke, I didn't stumble. I sang
Yeah.
for the first time ever.
But no, you
And
killed it too. Like that the way that you that's amazing how it happened. So that's crazy. That like everything just came together. You know what I mean?
yeah, shout
Even
out
though
my
you
bro,
see
Many
nobody,
Faces, man. Yeah, man.
that's
Shout out
that's
my bro.
that's a blessing right there, bro.
Yeah,
How do
facts,
you
man.
how do you feel like so I guess that's one way, you know, that shows you got to maneuver differently now that we got this pandemic to deal with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I was gonna ask though, like prior to that show, you know what I mean? Like, did you have any favorite shows of yours? I know you mentioned like the ciphers in Orlando. Like, did you have any particular shows of yours that you know what I mean, you really enjoy rocking?
Yeah, man. One that sticks out was I forgot the name of the joint. You know how it is in Orlando, man, especially when you've been doing your thing there for a long time. But it was at the Haven Lounge.
Right.
It was on my birthday like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm weird, bro. I got this weird thing with my birthday, you know what I'm saying? But it was on my birthday. I got one on my first joint that I didn't even release. I made a mixtape that I didn't even put out back then. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I had Johnny Storm and my bro Sonny Talent on a song. It's called
Uh,
Salute. And so like I did a pretty dope set and it was decent. But when I brought Storm and Sonny and RC was there, so like Set Gang was on stage, my bro Mike V, it
wow.
was just it was next level. Like the people just started to come, so the place was packed. We had the Haven rocking, man. It was like for real, like real hip hop, real boom bap hip hop, man. And people were feeling it, they were loving it. And just being on my birthday, like I don't really, you know, ever since I became a Christian, man, I don't really get drunk or smoke and stuff like I used to, you know. But I was drinking a little bit that night, you know, because it was my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Word.
special occasions. But nah, it was just an all around dope night. It was one that really sticks out. And then I did this scene one year at venue 578.
Oh, those were dope.
And
Those were
yeah,
dope.
and for some reason, I don't know why, but Fredo blessed your boy, and I was on the main stage.
Hey, yeah, that was a dope night.
Yeah, it was dope, man. And so like I was one of the first artists to go on. There wasn't that many people there, but to be on like a real stage in a real, you know, pretty big club, that was really dope. And it's funny, my man Second Samuel, shout out to Second Sam. He had to
Word.
rock up he had to
Be
rock upstairs. What'd you say?
be easy, as he used to call him back in the day.
Yeah, Berserk. Yeah,
Yeah.
Berserk. Yeah. But now he had to rock upstairs and he was like, who's this white dude I ain't never seen before on the main stage? He was tight. He was like, yo, like, who's this dude, man? And he came up after and like introduced himself and was like, hit me with the tight mug and all, you know, he was like, I'm Second Sam, you know, who are you? And but then later on, it's funny how it works. He started a little music group and he asked me to be a part of it. And you know, I'm still to this day, I'm Beautiful Bride. You know, that's the squad, is Beautiful Bride. So shout to Second Sam and the Beautiful Bride, man.
Word.
And so it's just funny how things work, man. It started off as like a little jealousy there, but you know, it's all love now.
Nah, he's a great guy, man. He's actually the first dude that ever asked me to get on a song when I was like
Mm,
17. And
wow.
I don't think he kept the verse, but like it was him, me, I think Illustrate, a couple other people. Bro, this was way long ago. I would have told him to take the verse off. It was probably not a good verse. You know what I'm saying? Like I was mad young.
Nah, I've never heard you come whack, but I'm sure it was dope.
Nah, I'm listen, man. I was 16, 17. I was like, I was just rusty in the studio, that's all. But not rusty, like just learning. But that's dope,
Yeah.
man. It's a guy, man. Cause he shows love once, he'll always be like, and then all right, he'll show you love. So he keep it real.
He's from Staten Island, bro. He can't help it, man.
Right, right. You gotta be like, hold up. Cause
Yeah.
he represents to the fullest. So he's like, he wanna make sure everybody do.
You know
What's
what's
up?
funny is, man, he had checked me on something. I always thought Ozone was the East Side Orlando. I always heard that Ozone was the East Side. You know, that's just what we always heard, and just that the vibe was the East Side. But he was like, no, no, Ozone is Orlando. He
Right,
was like, I was on the original Ozone mixtape,
right.
and he had to school me the game. He told me the dude, I forgot the dude's name who came up with that, but I,
I
I was like,
forgot
all
the
right, I
guy's
was
name, man.
wrong. I
I know the
apologize.
guy.
Weren't you on that tape too, though?
Nah, I was on I mean I did like some Ozone mixtapes like years later, but I wasn't on the original. I know my older brother probably was. When I first started, I came around when they was still doing Ozone magazine, and that's when I met Big Earl. I was like I
Yeah,
was
that
like
was the dude.
16, 17. Like only dude I really knew around was Midas, Johnny Storm, Shinobi, and Ills. But when I
Woo!
started
Yeah, it was
getting in the music, like I wasn't really in the studio too much. It was more like cipher stuff, like just meeting up, ciphering and all that. But
yeah,
the the dude that came up with the name, I forgot his, he's from
that was the
NIT.
yeah.
But the guy that ran the hot dog cart, Aaron, he used to
Yeah.
go by Creeper. He was in the group with the guy that came up with the name. So they were all so that's
Mm.
why he let us rap at the cart. You know what I mean? Like
It
he's
makes
kind of
perfect
like
sense.
yeah, he's like the generation previous. You know what I mean? I guess.
Yeah,
So he was like, yeah, come rap. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. He just wasn't a rapper anymore.
yeah.
But
The vegan hot dog stand, bro. It brings back memories, man.
yeah, and that always made people want to eat the food. Like you know, they're just hanging out watching us. They're like, yeah, let me try one, and then they're
Yeah.
like, pretty good, or the guy's girl wants one or whatever, or you just want
Well,
soda. You know.
no,
So shout
it
out
was
to
a smart. It was smart, man.
right. But I did, yeah, I did do a tape Ozone 50 MCs one time, and we had like I tried to get like 50 MCs on the whole tape, and it was like 2 discs. It was bad, man. It did pretty good, and we just put it online for free. I think Sam was on that. I'm not too sure, but
Yeah,
I
I
always
think
try
he
to.
might have been too. But
But
yo, I just wanted to say something real quick before I forget, man. Because like I'm a real old school type of cat, so part of that is paying homage and showing respect where it's due, and all
right,
of that, man. You definitely a pioneer in the ozone scene, man. I salute you, man. Definitely. I still rock the combine. I got it in my whip it in Orlando. I didn't bring my whip here, but that stays in rotation, man. When I want that golden era, that classic sound, I bump that a lot. But I also want to big up your brother, man. I also want to give Migraine some respect, bro, because it's funny. He just started battling, and I know a lot of cats in Orlando who aren't the same age as us. It's like,
right,
oh, Migraine. They didn't know, and they don't give him the respect he deserves. I remember your brother used to judge the battles, bro. Your brother used to be a
right,
judge for grind time, son. Like he wasn't
right,
even on no battling stuff. He was like, I'll tear your head off, but I'm a judge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to battle. So I just
right.
want to give your brother some respect, man. So a big shout out to Migraine, man. He's definitely a pioneer and OG in the ozone, man. And I also wanted to tell you too, man, it's funny how my mind works, man. Me and you battled on the same night way back in the day before we even knew each other.
Word,
But
each other.
my tryout battle for grind time was in Fort Lauderdale, and you battled 24/7.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I remember
and
that
that
day.
was my tryout. And it's a funny story, bro. You know me in the story. I got it. If you don't mind, I just got to tell the story.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went down there from Orlando with Paradox, J Biz, and my cousin RB, who was my roommate. He drove us, right?
Right.
So we drive all the way to Fort Lauderdale. My dude is nowhere to be found. And this is my BC days, right? This is like the wild and crazy Dolore days, right? So
Right.
I'm drinking heavy. I'm drinking, I'm drinking, I'm drinking. I'm tight. I'm tight. Like my dude is nowhere to be found. I'm ready to battle. I wanted to be on grind time. and this was this was the heyday of grind time. This is when it was big, you know.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
And so I started getting twisted. I started getting saucy. And so I just started freestyling everybody. Anybody in the parking lot came, I was just, I remember there was a rainbow, and I was like, I came to spit game, bro. You mad gay. You came because of the rainbow. Like, I was just like, like, just anybody who came across me, I was getting it. So Direct had seen me do that. And he's like, yo, what? You're showing me that you're hungry. I'm going to get you a battle. Another dude didn't show up. I'm going to put y'all two together. But
Right.
the funny thing was, it was right before the main event. So, you know, tryouts was early in the day before the show started. But because of how everything worked out, they put me on right before the main event, and it was my tryout. And I remember I smashed the dude. I got into grind time. I didn't make the most of it. I had a very small, short grind time career. But I still remember, like, yo, who is this dude, AMiAM? Because I thought you got robbed that night. You know, dude had some Spanish bars that made people laugh. He had the crowd. But I remember, like, yo, this dude got robbed, like, because I was hip hop, you know, and like for me, he was like jokes, and you was hip hop, so it was like, but just real quick, man, I gotta just tell you the end of the story because it's mad funny. Shout out to J Biz, that's the homie. I know he'll tell you the same story if he talks about me. If my name comes up, he's gonna tell you the story. So we get twisted. None of us was really doing our thing at the time, and we was all mad broke. My bad, Biz, for saying this, but we was mad broke. And so halfway back to Orlando from Fort Lauderdale, we ran out of gas.
Oh no.
And we in the middle of nowhere, son. We in the middle of nowhere, but we just happened to make it to this little gas station, and none of us got bread. None of us got bread, bro. And so P-Dox had like some perp. He had like this beautiful looking bud, right? And I was like, yo, give me that. I was like, give me the bud. I'm gonna do what it do. I'm gonna get us home. And he was like, they was mad scared. They're like, we was in the country. They was like, nah, just chill. I'm like, I got us. So the first dude I saw, shout to Red Simpkins too, because he knows the story too, man. The first dude I saw was this old white dude, and I just walked right up to him and was like, yo, excuse me, man, my bad to bother you, but you smoke? And he was like, and I'm like, look, man, we're artists. We just came from a show. We have no money. We ran out of gas, but I got this really beautiful bud, bro. I'll sell it to you for less than his. I think I told him like 15 a G back then. You know what I'm saying? Like just something like, yeah, just trying to get some gas. And the dude was like,
That's
all
the
right.
deal.
He looked at it and he goes, all right. And he goes, he's like, y'all are some rappers? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, shoot, you got CDs, you got a mixtape? So he bought a mixtape from each of us. He bought the bud and he threw gas in the car on top of that. Showed us mad love, bro. And the funny thing was, Jay Biz was on the phone with his wife the whole time, bugging, like, yo, babe, listen, I'm not lying. We ran out of gas. Like, she's not believing him. He's like, yo, listen, please, like, don't be like, I got you. I'm on the way. And then I'll never forget, we got in the car and we're riding back, and they was just like, yo, Dolore, that was like the illest thing I've ever seen in my life. They was like, yo, like, just crazy, man. It's Ozone story right there, bro.
That's crazy. That because
Yeah.
I ran out of gas. Had a similar situation, but I ain't hustle like that and flip it. So he got merch, gave y'all gas, and got the green off you.
He bought a little bit, so we still had enough to get us home too. You know, it worked out. It worked
Y'all
out
had
lovely.
I probably had like 80 extra bucks and a tank of gas.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And they were like, nah, like they didn't want me to do it. I was like, I got it. Just relax. I got this. You know, like.
That was a dope event, man. I remember Cap was hosting because I wasn't really like, because originally I was trying to help Direct get grind time out there. He was like, yo, I need people to battle. I was like, so everybody I battled, he just basically was like, yo, battle this guy. I'm like, all right. So, but that night, you know what I mean? Like I knew 24/7 was dope. So I was like, all right, I ain't gonna sleep on this kid, you know? And I rode up with Johnny Storm and Rugged. So when we went up there, and I wasn't really taking that stuff serious, man. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna just, because the whole writing verses and memorizing, that was like new to me. So
it was new to a lot of people.
Yeah, like I was used to freestyling, like that was the whole thing. Like when I started freestyling, I was like, yo, you can't write, like that's forbidden. You know what I'm saying?
If you put a written in a cipher, you would get checked for it. You would get G checked for it. Be like, that's a written stop. People would check you.
Right. And I
Right?
remember like, that it was a certain point in time, right? Like I remember Midas, he'd be like, "Yo, man," like at a certain point in the night, he'd be like, "Yo, I want to hear your writtens. Like I want to hear what you've been writing." Because sometimes we would kick it written, and everybody like, "Hey, man, like,
That's too
nah, bro."
nice. It's too
You know what I
nice.
mean? And then, yeah, so like, you know what I mean? Because you want to stay sharp. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. Like once you get to a certain point for me, it gets fun. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah,
but uh, writing and kicking it in the cipher was just so new. So like when I got to the battle, I was like, I might freestyle half of it, you know,
yeah.
and he was just flawless that night, you know. But
No, he was on top of his game. I don't
you know,
mean I don't mean to put him down. He was doing his thing. I just felt like I was more bars over jokes, and I felt like he had a lot of jokes. And because he said some Spanish things, the crowd thought it was
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? But still, it was like it's just preference, man. You know?
Like if you look at the writing though, like the right, you know, I just the way I wrote it, I was like, I think this is gonna sound, you know, land ill, you know what I mean? So I was trying to have it do the shit, but I did mess up on one part. So like I think that's what cost me because I messed up on one line, and it just, you know what I mean? But it was great, you know, great situation. We ended up being cool later, you know what I mean? Started doing music, we did a song together, you know, did a video, and you know, he's a cool guy, man. You know, so peace to him. I ain't
Some
seen him.
I haven't
What's
seen
up?
him in forever either. But some behind the music though. You know, Sonny Talent's my bro, right?
Yeah,
So
Sonny's dope.
Sonny went to school with that dude or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was,
Uh
but they
huh.
used to battle at like lunch and all the
Word.
time. And Sonny says, this is what he says now, like, it's not me saying it, it's Sonny saying it, but he told me that all those bars he spit for you was for him. And he
Word.
and he and he recycled those the peso or whatever because Sonny's name is, I'm not gonna give his government, but his government is close to your government. So it's the same ending.
Okay.
So what he did is he just flipped all the bars he used to say to Sonny for you. Uh-huh.
Ah.
Ah, right?
I mean, I get it. I get it. Like I don't know. I never did that. Like that was never my thing. Like if I went to a battle, like all right, I'm a rap about your outfit. Like I might
Yo,
have a Spanish joke, but then again, I'm Spanish. You know what I mean? So I get it. If you run into a Spanish guy, then you're gonna bring out all the Spanish jokes. But
facts. Yep.
you know, it's just kind of a disadvantage because I can't say that about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
but it's funny. You know what I mean? So that's why I always kind of commend Matt Ills. He always is able to flip it. You know what I mean? Like, I never really seen him fail on doing that. So like, for me, I'm just like, I can't take too many Spanish jokes, bro. Like, so let me just host this rap show, man. Like, let's just
Yeah.
get everybody on. But that was a dope night, man. I remember that night. I found money on the floor, man. At the battle, like I just saw money on the floor. I was like, oh. And then me and Johnny Storm bought everybody pizza and shit. It was like $80.
You probably picked it up. You probably hit the scoop in stride, right? You didn't stop. You
Yo,
just kind of went.
I did not stop because everybody saw it at the same time. And my whole knee went out though. Like 3 steps later.
Ah,
But
facts,
not
right?
like only I always like the battles. It's just, you know, when it's like 12 hours long, it's just grueling, but it was always like cool experience, you know. And
Yeah.
from the grind time era to where it is now, I
It's
wish
crazy to think that some of those cats is famous now.
right,
Some of those cats is like legitimately famous, like conceited.
right.
Johnny Storm is definitely famous in Florida, but I also feel like there's people all over the country and the world that knows who Johnny Storm is. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, Crescendo sent my gas money. Yeah, right. It fell out my pocket. You picked up my gas money. Nah, but I wanted to tell you though. You said how you had a little stumble, and this is what gets me tight about battles these days. Because like
Uh-huh.
I told you, my grind time career was mad short. I had 3 battles. I had that tryout battle. I had my first one in Orlando, and then I had one for the DMV, grind time DMV, and DC. I
Right.
drove from Orlando to DC, and but my first one in Orlando, being an MC like myself, man, it's funny how you get in your own head. And I was about to say a bar backwards. And
Oh,
instead of just saying the bar and nobody would have known, I said it backwards and was like, ah. I didn't go like, oh, damn, or like curse, like I messed up. I just went like, ah. I reset and I went right back to it. That was it. It wasn't a choke. It
right.
was a slight stumble. But I'll never forget all the judges voted for the other dude because of that. And it was like it like tarnished my reputation, bro. Like people did not want to mess with me after that. They're like, nah, you
Yo,
choked. I'm like, I didn't choke. I'm being an MC. I didn't want to say a bar backwards. And I literally just went, ah, and then got right to it. That's it. And I killed like the rest of it. I didn't come soft after that, sloppy. Like it was on point. But now it's like I see cats like straight up sit there for minutes and be like, uh,
yeah.
and I'm like, and they still get
Hold on,
bad with
hold on,
them.
hold up.
Yeah,
They
run it back.
start,
Can we run it back? Like, no. Back in the
they
day,
start
you
get,
would
yo,
know.
but they start getting booed, and they're like, they look at the crowd like, yo, it's the crowd, like, shut the crowd up. Like,
Nah,
you can't shut the crowd up. Like, you don't have a button.
no. That's hip hop, bro. Back in the day, like I tell people all the time, like it was different, bro. Like my man Berto, bro. Shout out to Birdman, South 9 Williamsburg. That was my G right there, right? I'll never forget this man used to knock people out in ciphers. Like he was a G for real. G'd up from the feet up. If you was whack, he would tell you stop rapping. If it came back around and you rapped again and you was whack, he would just pow. Yo, facts, just boop, boop, and give you that Brooklyn walkover and just pow. For no reason except that you was whack. Like I'll never forget. I brought a beatboxer to a cipher, and I went to go do something, and I came back, and the dude's on the ground, and my man standing there. I'm like, what happened? He's like, he was whack, and I'm like, so you knocked him out? He's like, I knocked him out. I told him stop beatboxing. He didn't beatbox, so I snuffed him. I'm like, yo, Berto, come on, son. Like I brought this dude to the party, man. Like, but that's how it was back then, bro.
Yo,
That's how it
wait.
was.
He said you whack. So start beatboxing.
No. The dude he thought he was a beatboxer,
Oh,
and
I
he was
thought it was
messing.
like I thought he made him stop rapping because he's whack at rapping and said, "Yo, start beatboxing."
Nah, he was already beatboxing, and Berto gave him a warning, like, yo, don't do that. Just stop. You're throwing me off. And he kept going, and he just, beak. Like, yo, like, I come back, the dude's on the ground. I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I'm like,
He
but that
gave
was
him
hip
the
hop, though.
beatbox.
That was hip hop, bro. You
How
could
you
not
box
come,
the beatbox? He gave him the
yo.
box beat.
And the funny thing was, like, you imagine if they was recording, it would have like, boom, boom, boom. Like, it would have been the
Like
ill sound effect.
hit him right on the snare. Like that was the best snare he ever had.
Like, yeah, like,
Like
but
yo,
yo, that
and then
was
when
hip
it
hop,
stopped, it
though,
was
bro.
like when he stopped doing the beat, did the guy keep rapping? Like was it like a drop in the beat? And he's just like acapella.
Now he straight snuffed him. The dude was on the ground, and everybody was like, "Yo!" Like, and Berto was like, because Berto's straight Brooklyn, man. He was from Brooklyn. He was just Brooklyn to the core, and like '90s Brooklyn, not 2000s Brooklyn, not 2020 Brooklyn. There's a difference. And he just was built like that. He just like I told the dude, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, man. And then he rapped about how he knocked him out, and how
Wait, they
and
kept rapping
yeah,
after that?
and the dude's still on the ground. And this is like my boy that I brought out. I had to like wake him up, like smack him around, like, yo, come on, son, get in the car. I had to go put him in the car. And my man Berto, he's freestyling like, yo, put your man in the car. I told him I was hard, like, like, ah,
Yo,
like,
this is Mad Friday Debo esque. Like, yeah,
yeah.
it just feels like that flashback when he knocked the dude out for his bike. That's crazy,
For,
bro.
for a whack beatbox, it got snuffed, man. But moral of the story is, like with our battles, if you had any ounce of incorrectness, if you did not come correct 100%, hip hop
Right,
didn't show you the love, bro. That's how it was, man. And I
right.
feel bad for dudes, but I went through it too. It was like you had to use it as a motivation. You couldn't let it beat you up, because if
Right.
you came back harder and you didn't stumble and you came correct, you got more respect than you would have got, because like, yo, I remember you got snuffed in the cipher, and now you're doing your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, man,
That's real though.
yo, I remember I used to listen to dude and he used to like get knocked out when he was whack. Like he wasn't even rapping.
Yo, But that's
No.
hip hop. That's how hip hop was, man. It's totally different these days, bro. Totally different.
What do you think? Since it's different, what do you think are like? What are your? Have you changed your goals anyway? Like for like pursuing? Because I know you're doing different type of music. You know, since are you? What are your goals? Have they changed any differently since recent years or a year
Yeah,
ago?
man. I mean, my whole vibe changed when I became a Christian, man, and when I became a positive hip hop artist. I, I started being true, really true to myself. I always took pride on spitting rhymes that had stuff to do with my life and was true to life. But it was even more so now because it was like I let the tough guy stuff go.
Right.
And it was more about encouraging people and motivating people and and so it was just different, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as that aspect, my content definitely changed. But as far as goals went, I used to just want to just be like the hardest MC and just spit bars and bars and bars and bars. Now I want to make songs. I want to make tracks. I want to make classic songs where people could vibe to. And it's not, I still put a lot of pride on my lyrics. Don't get me wrong, because I'm from that school. I'm from that cloth.
Right.
But I don't, it's not like, it doesn't consume me like it used to. Like if I write a rhyme that's not like the craziest lyrical thing, it's all right nowadays. As long as it's a good song, I try to make better songs now than I used to, man. But nah, the other thing is like, like when I perform on a beat. I don't rap over my joints. That's something
Right.
else that's changed is people just rap over their songs, and it's like to me, I'm like, yo, like that's cheating. I literally start jogging 2 or 3 weeks before a show, spit my rhymes while I'm jogging, like rehearse every single night. I'll rent the studio, I'll do studio time, and I'll rehearse over a mic and speakers just to get that feel. Like I
Right.
take it seriously, and I feel like cats that go and just rap over their songs is like it's like cheating. But that's just how it is. Things are different these days. You can't. But as far as a goal goes, I want to get better musically. I never want to fall back on the way the game is. I want to keep it going the way it was and the way I am, and just get better at that. Not take a shortcut because that's what people do these days. you know.
Right.
So
I think I think that when people rap on their audio, it sucks anyway. Like like
it is,
sound
man.
wise, unless you're like a big time artist and you're in an arena, maybe yeah, like that's different. But like
Yeah.
even that, what I mean? That's like a rare exception. You know what I'm saying? They even make it sound way better than that. They don't have the regular song. You know what I mean? Like they have back, vocals and stuff. But when people do that, that's just, maybe they don't have access to the instrumental. I don't know. But like it's
That's a
still
good point.
in that song there.
It's like breath control was a valued asset of an MC to be able to rock a show with breath. And there was even tricks of the trade. Like I would put in my ad libs. I would do a a performance track, and I would put the hook in there so I could catch my breath during the hook, or I would put certain ad libs so like certain parts where I run out of breath. But the majority of the main vocals were dropped out, and it was me really, it's me really rapping. But it's funny. Like I've never been a big Lil Wayne fan, but I got mad respect for Lil Wayne. And now when I'm gonna say this, if anybody's watching never noticed this before, go back and peep game. Every time Lil Wayne performs, especially at award shows, he's actually rapping. He never lip syncs or raps over a track. He's always literally like I just saw him on the BET, whatever the BET awards that just happened.
Yeah.
He did the joint to Kobe, the,
Hmm.
the Kobe tribute. That was all breath. He was really rapping. Like you could tell if you really dissected and listened to it, he was not rapping over a track. Like so like that to me just gets mad respect. I gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? And like I've never been a big Wayne fan, but I respect dude because of that right there. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm not a fan of all his stuff, but I think when it comes down to it, he got a lot of the fundamental MC's things down pat. His content is just his content, but like, and that like comes from that might come from like skating, man. I don't know. Like Shinobi rapped forever, bro, and he like that's that skating
Yeah.
stuff. Like him and his brother just I don't know, like just give him a mic, he'll rap forever, bro. Ever since I met Shinobi, he's been rapping. I mean, like he hasn't stopped rapping.
You gotta have
That's
skateboarding cardio, man. You get cardio from that. You know, so
Swam told me that too. That whole jogging while you rapping and learn how, because like when you rap and you jog, or if you rapping while you're jogging, you're learning how to breathe differently as you're accelerating your whole body. You know what I mean? So like when you're on stage, I seen videos of like Usher like rehearsing and he does workouts while he's singing. Like it's crazy. Like
yep,
so, but that way whenever you're in a regular environment, you're just BET Wars or whatever they do, it's nothing. It's like a practice at the house.
that's exactly what I was about to say. Actually, Red Sky put me onto that. Shout out to Red Sky. We was outside the line for the scene. I think it was the first scene because I did a couple of them. I think it was the first one I did. And I had met dude. I was like, "Yo, you the Orlando guy?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Word, I love that. It's dope." And we started chopping it up. And I said something like, "Yo," because back then I smoked a lot, and I was like, "Yo, I've been smoking too much. I don't really have the lungs." And he was like, "Yo, 2, 3 weeks before the show, I jogged. I start jogging. Even I never jogged, but 2 or 3 weeks before the show, I'll start jogging." And I'm like, and he's like, because if you can spit your rhymes while you're jogging, when you're on stage moving around, it'll be flawless.
Right.
It'll be super in pocket. And I took that gym from Red Sky, man. So shout out to Red Sky. And now I do it every time I have a show. So
I ain't done it in a while, I'll be honest. But I did it for a while, like when I met up with Swam, like we started working in the studio a lot, like early on, like he's like, yo, we're not doing no shows until you notice top to bottom, like rapping, running around the blocks. You know what I mean? So like, and
yeah,
that was when I was younger. So after getting more shows and more shows, like I ain't done it in a minute, but it definitely works. And it's something I would always suggest. But that's kind of like, you really gotta want to do it. Like it ain't easy at all. And we're not talking like no, it's like full diaphragm rapping, like you at a show, like you in the
yeah,
booth recording, you know.
yeah.
So, I was gonna ask you, you mentioned changing your sound recently. Like, what helps you? What do you think helps you stick out or stand out as an artist in the industry that's what it is now?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, my lane is CHH. You know what I'm saying? So Christian hip hop.
Right,
Um, which I feel like what makes me stand out in that lane is my testimony and my background, how I used to be.
right,
There's like a few dudes, like shout out to Seven. Seven used to be a blood in California, and you could tell like dude was really about that life, and now he's all about the Lord and he raps for God. And but I feel like most Christian rappers they didn't really come from that life. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm not the one to brag, I'm not the one to big myself up or nothing, but I've been to jail more times than I could count. I'm a felon. I really grew up in the hood. Like I had a drug problem. I sold drugs. Like I really was about that life back in the day before I came to Christ, man. And then now since that life is over with, but I can still rap about it. I can
right,
still talk that talk, and people that was in that life or still in that life can recognize it. They can peep game and be like, yo, he knows what he's talking about, or I could tell he was really in that life. So I feel like for CHH, that's what helps me stand out. But for hip hop in general, what helps me stand out is I say stuff you'll never hear a non Christian rapper say, bro.
right, right,
Like that brutal honesty. Like my last album was called Contemplations, and on the single, the intro called Contemplations, I just was real and I said, I haven't felt a woman's touch in some time. Now I'm curving shorty, even though she is a dime. Not looking at her body, but more her heart and mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll never hear a rapper say he ain't felt the woman's touch in a long time. Like that. That's just something you won't not hear. You know what I'm saying? But it's brutally honest. Because
yeah,
I feel like now I have an obligation to be extra true to life in my music. You know what I'm saying? So that type of stuff helps me stick out in hip hop. But then in CHH, I feel like my background, my story helps me stand out in that lane because not there's dudes that came from that life and now they rap for God and no question about it. I'm not the only one, but I
right.
definitely am one of them. So
No, but that's dope. You got a real story though. It's not nothing fabricated, and you got multiple layers how you want to share the wisdom. You know. how you wanna, and then like since you're getting better at the music, like you said, every time got a different angle. That's what I think is dope. Like once you get better with creating music, you get different ideas and try to attack it differently. Not sure if that's appreciated in today's era to the average listener, but I think
Yeah.
I think people come around anyway. So you know I'm sure people tell me now all the time, like you said, like I didn't know when I did the combine, I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like so, people
Crazy.
yeah, people tell me all the time, like, yo, man, I love that. I'm like, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? But like, as you get better, that's why you don't like the previous. You know what I mean? Because you're getting so much, or maybe that's just me because I'm kind of perfectionist on some things. But
No, and you should get better. You should listen to your old joints like, wow, that was whack. You should listen to your old and be like, wow, I should have said this or said that. I should have came hard. I do that all the time. I stopped listening to my old stuff because I felt like it makes me feel like I rushed it. And I'm
yeah,
like, man, if I just would have took more time on putting it out, I could have said this differently. And that one little part in the song, I said like this, and I should have said like this, and it's gonna bug. It irks me, so I'm like, I can't even listen to it anymore. I'm like, nah.
no, no, I feel you. That's why it takes me a while because I don't want to have that. Like every time I listen to it, I'm gonna think about it.
Yeah.
What's I don't want to forget none of these questions. My bad. But
No, you good.
the
I'm gonna
album
toss it.
drops. The album drops August 9th, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, it's on all streaming platforms. What are you doing? How you doing that?
Everywhere, and it'll also be on my website too, man. DoloreMusic.com, DOLORE music.com. It'll probably be like Apple Music, but it also have like links to whatever you use on there.
LoreMusic.com.
Yeah, DoloreMusic.com. But then if they just search Dolore Bits, BITS, anywhere on August 9th, you'll be able to see the new album there. And it's my third full length album, man. I got two other albums out now already. So
I
it's
hear that.
it's three in 3 years. So it's funny because I'm grinding and I'm trying to show people my work ethic, but then I just told you what though? What did I just tell you though?
Yeah,
Sometimes I feel like I rush it though, and that's just being honest, man. Sometimes I'm like,
yeah.
man, so
I noticed
but
that. When I heard Nas don't like Illmatic, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like people love it, but he like to him is like I didn't sound as cool as I wanted, or like I wanted to say this different, or you know. So I guess at any point in time, until you find the best version of yourself that you're comfortable with, you know what I mean? And who knows when we're gonna get there, you know?
and that's just being an MC, man, or just being an artist. Like, hopefully you're not satisfied. Hopefully you don't
Right.
make a record and you're like, yo, this is my Mona Lisa. Like, hopefully it's always like it's off in the distance and you're reaching for that, because I feel like once you get to that level, you're just cocky and conceited and nobody's gonna really vibe with you like that because unless it's real. If it is a Mona Lisa, then they're like, all right, bet. But if it's not and you act like that, then
Right.
most people are gonna be like, yo, this dude is corny,
I'm
So
Walt Disney. Yo,
Walt
what's
Disney
up?
with the pin strokes.
I was gonna ask, have you been doing any online events, like performing online? You got anything like that coming up?
Yeah, I did an online like we doing now, but I performed for Orlando Hip Hop like a month ago. Shout out to K-Mo. I appreciate that. Um I don't have any coming up, but I just did one like a month ago. But I actually just shot a video in New York. It's my first video in New York, and for the single Beauty and the Struggle.
So,
So I'm gonna release that right around the same time that the album comes out, which is really dope. I can't give away my secrets, but since I'm a humble dude, I'll just throw a little gem out there. What I did was I took a ferry from Brooklyn into the city. You know the ferries?
oh yeah,
Well, you can get on top of the ferry, right? They have
right.
a deck on top. And so what we did, we shot the video and it just looks like I'm on a boat in the East River. You know what I'm saying? But I'm actually on a ferry, but
That's
I'm
dope.
not I'm not flogging. I'm not like throwing money up with champagne and nothing.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. But you can't tell I'm on a ferry. But it's a good look, bro. We go under the Brooklyn Bridge. We go under the Williamsburg Bridge.
Oh, that's
Downtown Brooklyn's over here. The Lower East Side's over here. Shout out to Red Simpkins. You my bro. I love you, man.
what up? What up,
Um,
Red?
So you know what I'm saying? It was a good look, man. I'm on top of the ferry. I'm on the East River. I'm like, beauty in the circle, bro. You know, but you can't tell I'm on a ferry. But I just always been that type of dude, man. Get the best look for the little bit of money. There's $2.75, the same MTA price as the train, bro.
Bro, the last time I went to New York, I filmed a video, and we only had enough for me and the director token like one way, and it was like 4 in the morning. So you know how the trains run like crazy. So I
Yep.
was like, yo, we got to do one shot where you stay in the car, right? Like you go in the car, I'm gonna meet you at the next stop, but you can't like we had to figure it out so that we won't leave the turnstile, and
Uh,
because we had to get the shots like if they came on the train and left on the train, it was crazy. But like it only cost like $2.
$2.75, man. You know, and like, but people don't know that unless you're from New York. You know. Shout out,
That's
Profess. Shout out, Profess. The biz, man, was good, my bro. I want to just take this time real quick, man. I want to
yeah.
say big congratulations to my bro Red on getting engaged to his girl, bro. That's huge.
Oh
Much
yeah, today,
respect.
right?
Yep, today. I respect that. I love that, man. Wife him up, man. Can't be a player forever. You know what I'm saying? You got to wife him up. Shout out to Fredo and Ashley. They got engaged.
Or
Yep. So shout out to them, man. Much respect to everybody getting engaged and married. I respect that, man. So I just want to take time to say that, man.
family, family. What
Yeah, man.
I know we got like a time limit. I just want to make sure I'm not missing nothing. But let everybody know your social media so that way they want to follow you on all your platforms and tune into your joints.
Yeah, definitely, man. First and foremost, like Ozone pinned it, DoloreMusic.com. That's the one-stop shop for everything to do with me and my music. On IG, positive underscore Dolore, Dolore. And Facebook is personal. If you don't know me, I'm not gonna have you on the Facebook like that. But IG, and the website, that's where you can find what you need, man. So
Word. Well, a couple other questions, like, these are like more like just open fun questions, I guess.
yeah.
What's something that people might not know about you? A fact, I guess.
Oh wow.
Facts. Interesting facts.
Oh man. Um, it's funny, man. A lot of people don't know my past. Like when I tell people that, I got this ill arrest record and I'm a felon, and they're like, "You like for real?" Like a lot of people don't know that because that's just not something I really talk about like that unless I'm in a setting where I'm giving my story, my testimony, and I'm like, this is what I came from. So a lot of
Right.
people don't know that. I guess something else would be when I was 15, my mom and dad. So I grew up in a trailer, man. But my mom and dad sold the trailer, and they were missionaries, and they moved to New Zealand. And so when I was 15, my dad's mad Italian. I still remember to this day. My dad mad Italian. He's from Jersey. He came in my room and he was like, "Hey, we're selling the trailer and we're moving to New Zealand. You can come along and shut up, or you can go live with your grandmother in the country." And I'm like, "Yo, like, I'm gonna go. Like, I don't want to live in the country." Like,
Word. So you was in New Zealand for real?
yeah, we lived there for about a year. And it's funny because like I was wilding. I was 15. It was 1999. I was
Wow.
15, and I was wilding, bro. First time in my life, I went from the hood to another country where I was the only American. You know what I'm saying? And it was just crazy, man. Just living that rock star. Like,
That's so crazy.
everybody was like, "Yo, like you American?" Like, "Yo, like." And the crazy part is your money doubles in New Zealand. So it's two New Zealand every one American dollar. So like my family wasn't like, I'm not gonna say like we came from the projects, but we weren't rich. I grew up in a trailer, and my dad was a firefighter, my mom was a school teacher. You know what I'm saying? So like we was all right, but we didn't have a lot. You know what I'm saying? But when we moved to New Zealand, like they sold their house to do that. So when we moved to New Zealand, like for the first time in my life, I lived in a real house. I had never lived in a real house before. It was always mobile homes. You know what I'm saying? So I had a real house, and like just my dad was like, do whatever you want. Like my parents was mad cool because it just that stress was gone because we were living in an island in the Pacific, and
Right.
It was dope, man. And the crazy thing is, real quick, man, they had the illest love for hip hop. And I thought it was the dopest thing in the world, man. And the funniest thing, like, it's so funny. Like, if my boys from New Zealand, because they still my friends on social media watch it, I'm sorry. No offense, man, but it's just funny to me coming from America. My little school was on the west side of town, right? And I'm not lying, I'm not even lying. I think you know where I'm going with this. This is 1999.
Uh-huh.
I'm in like the little city hall, like the downtown, and these dudes from my school see these dudes from the other school on the east side of town. And they was like, West Side, Tupac, bro. And the other dudes was like, East Side, Biggie Smalls. And they were like, what? And they started fighting. And I'm like, yo, like, time out. Like, time out. Like, no, no, no. And yo, listen, the funniest part about the story, not for nothing, is 1999. I'm like, yo, y'all know Tupac dead, right? Like, y'all know they dead, right? And yo, not for nothing, on everything I love, son, on everything I love. The next day was a memorial. Everybody was in black. They had candles. This dude had the beatbox on his shoulder, the boombox, and was like, "Dear Mama," and he was crying, and he was like, "Cause yo, they were so far behind our culture back then. They're still like that to this day. Like I'll see my boys in New Zealand, and they're like on hyphy, and they're doing hyphy dances. I'm like, yo, it's 2020, my G. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it was. And like the news hadn't traveled over there yet. This is like when the internet was first getting started. You got to realize that cell phones and the internet were not big back then, especially in New Zealand, bro. So like when I told them Tupac had died, you would think like it was like Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy or something, bro. Like everybody was mourning. They was mad sad. Like it was like, yo, but that's like, something I'll never forget, man.
Bro, don't hang out with that new American kid, man. You ruined my whole day.
It ruined your whole life.
And Tupac died.
It ruined your whole life. Like, yo, but they was real about it. They was fighting. They literally on the west side of town was Tupac, and the dudes from the east side was Biggie, and they would fight. It was like gangs. Like, they took it mad. They thought the beef was like, I mean, it was real, but it was like next level in another country. I'm like, yo, like, y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. And like, my 4-4, make sure all your kids don't grow. And I'm like, you know what he's talking about? Like, do you know what a 4-4 is? Like, do you know that's a pistol? And they're like, what? Like, they had no idea what they were saying, bro. But they was real about it, though. You know, but that's one thing a lot of people don't know about me. I literally went from the hood to another country when I was 15 years old, man.
That is mad funny. That is really funny. That's crazy. I met a DJ from New Zealand, and he came. It was a couple of years ago. He came to Florida. He was trying to find some things to do. I actually took him to Austin's, the coffee spot.
Yo, I met that dude.
You met him, right? His name was John. And
at Austin's, yeah.
So I brought him, right, because he was with me in I think it was Tampa the weekend before or whatever, but he had went to New York and Cali. So he had came back to Florida to fly from MCO to go back to New Zealand. So he's like, yeah, you know, I went to the Bronx. It was pretty cool. I brought him to Austin's, and he was there the whole night. And it was a really good night. And he was blown away. And he was like, this is the most amazing hip hop I've ever witnessed in my whole life. This guy's like 40. He's like, this is the most, I'm going to come back. I hope this is forever. Like, he was like, I didn't know he was still alive. Like, but I remember
they love hip hop in New Zealand, bro. They're big hip hop heads out there. It's just mad old school. Like they probably don't even know what trap is or mumble rap. It probably hasn't got there yet, you know, or if it did, they didn't take root because they're just that old school. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I remember how his voice sounded, but you know, his accent, he just was like, "Hey, this is amazing! Like, this is so great."
I got you, bro. They'd be like, they used to call me Tallahassee because that's where I'm from originally, and I used to wear this Tallahassee shirt, Tallahassee Fire Department, because my dad was a firefighter, and they'd be like, "Hey, Tallahassee, bro, you want to come to me mom's house for tea, hey, bro?" Like, like I used to be like, "What?" Like. But now I met that dude at Austin's, and I said something, and he was like, "I'm from New Zealand." I was like, "Oh, I used to live in New Zealand," and it blew that dude's mind. He was like, "What? Like in Orlando, Florida?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Wow." And he was mad cool though. That dude was cool though.
He's real dope, man. I still talk to him every once in a while. He's a DJ. I'll link you up with him, man. He'd be spinning and everything. He got like a whole podcast and all that. I think this is counting down 8 seconds, but you know.